Redefining failure. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Today was one of the worst days the Biden administration has had since its inauguration. Now, two things have now become undeniable for everybody but slavish Biden apologists. Number one, Americans are getting poorer. Number two, America is getting weaker. Yet the White House, of course, is trying to spin gold out of goose poop. After they spent all week trying to redefine the term recession, the GDP number came out, and naturally, it's worse than expected.
Additionally, 2 successive quarters of negative economic growth has been deemed a recession. And confirmation of that ugly reality came today.
Looking back on this, we probably may say that, the U.S. descended into a recession starting around the middle of this year.
We're going to hear from the president. It's coming out, obviously, because he knows there was bad news this morning.
Remember, getting you used to living with less is their policy. But they also know that the R word hurts them politically, so they just ignore the numbers. Biden may be COVID-free, but today he was also fact-free.
Let me just give you what the facts are in terms of the state of the economy. Businesses are investing in America at record rates. We have a record job market of record unemployment. This is powering the strongest rebound in American manufacturing. That doesn't sound like a recession to me. Thank you very much.
You never see him walk faster than when he's leaving the press. Now, literally everything you just heard him say is a lie. Businesses are reducing their investments. More Americans have entirely given up looking for work, and pay raises are nowhere near keeping up with inflation. So the media, if we had a media, they should be asking Biden why his views on the U.S. economy are so much rosier than the IMF's. Under Trump, we had the strongest economy of the G7. Remember that. And now we're tied with France in 4th place with a 2.3% GDP. France. Just that is embarrassing. And the projections get even worse for 2023. We drop to 1% GDP. Now, the IMF reports that the risks are overwhelmingly tilted to the downside. That's a quote. And yet listen really closely as Biden's crew again try to redefine failure.
Now, there's no doubt we expect growth to be slower than last year, but that's consistent with the transition to a stable, steady growth.
What we're seeing is that we are in a transition. We had this strong economic growth, and now what we're seeing is a transition into stable and steady growth.
This report indicates an economy that is transitioning to more steady, sustainable growth.
More like transitioning to permanent decline, which is what they want. Use less, travel less, prosper less, expect less. Biden's propagandists think Americans are stupid, but they are not.
Is that Americans hate this economy, right? The CNN poll out recently found that 64% of Americans believe the U.S. economy is currently in a recession.
Remember, this is only going to get worse under Biden's policies, and things will get more, not less expensive after the spending explosion on that climate crapola. Meanwhile, things are getting more dangerous on the national security front. Chinese President Xi and Biden spent 2 hours today on the phone, and basically it looks like China spent the entire time lecturing us and warning Biden. The CCP's readout went like this. China firmly opposes separatist moves toward Taiwan independence and interference by external forces. The position of the Chinese government and people on the Taiwan question is consistent. Those who play with fire will perish by it. It is hoped that the U.S. will be clear-eyed about this. Now, those who play with fire will perish by it? Now, journalists, again, if we have any left, should be asking the White House if China accurately captured what was said. And if so, press them on why Biden just didn't end the call immediately. They're threatening the Speaker of the House, sir. So Biden looks incredibly weak here. For 2 years, the Biden people have been sucking up to China. And for what? Because John Kerry thought China was going to help us on the climate change issue? But of course, the Communist Party is playing all of them. It doesn't give a rat's you know what about carbon emissions. It doesn't ever feel constrained by the rules-based international order, and it never operates in good faith. Never. It's a dictatorship, kids. Just ask Jack Ma from Alibaba. They just took his multi-billion-dollar company from him. Why? Because they can. Our big corporations and banks doing business there will ultimately suffer the same fate. It's only a matter of time. So Biden and Xi apparently also talked tariffs. That's the only thing Xi really cares about. Obviously, China wants them removed. Now, this would make China only richer and stronger and American manufacturing weaker. So, of course, Biden's actually thinking about doing it. You can't make this up. This is insane. Unless this is all part of Biden's plan, of course, meaning whoever controls Biden's plan. Now, Biden and the Democrats have put America behind the 8 ball here. This is an emergency that requires a radical change in leadership in Congress, of course, later on in the White House. If you ever want this country to be strong again, to our families to be prosperous again, your streets to be safe again, we have to get rid of these people. And that means taking back the Senate. Every seat is critical. So a vote in Georgia for Raphael Warnock is a vote for decline. A vote for John Fetterman in Pennsylvania is a vote for high energy prices. A vote for Tim Ryan in Ohio is a vote for high food prices. A vote for Mark Kelly in Arizona is a vote to send more American jobs overseas. None of these people, none of them are moderate. They're in lockstep with Biden and Schumer, all current or future enablers of this unfolding American tragedy. So they can try to redefine decline as success all they want, but it's not going to work. Americans like winning too much. And today it became clearer than ever that Biden only knows how to lose. And that's the angle.